Best places in Lazio, Italy. We have made up the top 5 of locations you should not miss in Lazio, Italy. The sites are perfect to visit if you have an extra day in Rome. Lazio, or the Greater Rome area. Everyone knows Tuscany and Umbria in central Italy, and of course Rome. The area around Rome is, however, a white spot that is completely unjustified. I know of no other region with such a varied landscape, such a rich history, so many monuments, and a land that has brought forth so many VIPs, from Augustus to Marcello Mastroianni. Best places in Lazio, Italy. Top 5. Number 5. Gaeta, 140 kilometers south of Rome. Must see. Old Town plus City Beach of Serapo. The old city stretches over a rock that protrudes boldly into the Tyrrhenian Sea. The cathedral with 5 naves, in which you can almost get lost, is tremendously interesting. The bell tower in Arab Norman style is one of the most beautiful in Italy. It stands on lions. It incorporates numerous spoglias, including columns, parts of Roman sarcophagi, and panels from the former ambo pulpit. High up in the village is a large castle, partly occupied by a cadet school, which can be reached by stairs. On the other side of town is the pleasant sandy beach of Serapo, which can also be reached on foot from the old town. On a hill near the beach is the sanctuary of the Montagna Spiccata, the Split Mountain. It is said to have been created in an earthquake at the time of Jesus' death. Who knows? What can be seen there is the hand of the Turkish, an imprint of the hand of an infidel in the rock, and Pipo's stone bed, a flat rock on which Filippo Neri, a famous saint, usually sat to rest. Not exactly everyday business. Number 4. Civita di Bagnoregio, 110 kilometers north of Rome. Must see. The cliff town Civita emerge at the end of the long street at the end of the village of Bagnoregio. Emerged, that's the right word. Civita sits on a cliff that, like the entire area, was created hundreds of thousands of years ago by volcanic eruptions. The lava has left a thick layer of 60 meters on a rather unstable subsoil of earth and sand. This layer is strongly eroded by wind and rain water, with the result that rugged white-yellow rock formations have emerged. Civita is like an island. It is not surrounded by the sea, but by ravines. Between Bagnoregio and Civita, there is a metal bridge to span the difference in height. When the wind blows, you will almost blow away from the bridge. You can imagine what the wind does to Civita's soft soil. Civita is called the city that dies. The village is crumbling. This is not something of recent years. No one is allowed to dig a cave in the soil of Civita. The offender shall pay 100 soldi each time. In 1440, a monastery slid into the ravine. In 1469, a group of houses collapsed, and so on. In 1819, the municipality was finally transferred to Bagnoregio. Today, Civita is still home to not more than 15 people. The village may be dying, but there is no swan song yet. The village has also been discovered by Americans, Japanese, and UNESCO. It is on the World Heritage List. 10 years ago, only one bar and a trattoria were in business. Now the village boasts a load of restaurants, dozens of expensive private accommodations, and a couple of stores. In the central square is a perfume store that sells 3 types of homemade perfumes. One perfume also contains donkey milk. If you buy that, you'll bring a touch of Civita di Bagnoregio and donkey scent at home. Number 3. Bagnaia, Villa Lante, 80 kilometers north of Rome. Must see. The Hanging Gardens Villa Lante in Bagnaia is on the UNESCO World Heritage List as a protected heritage site. As usual in Italy, villa refers not only to the house, but the whole of the buildings and gardens, inside and out. Pleasure ground is a better description. Villa Lante consists of 2 elegant, rather small buildings with a loggia of 3 arches. The estate belonged to the hunting domain of Cardinal Francesco Gambara. Hence, the coat of arms of the lobster can be seen everywhere, as Gambara, actually Gambero, means lobster. The gardens are fantastic, because they are on a higher point of Bagnaia. They look like they are hanging. The gardens are laid out in orderly squares with yew bushes. In the center reigns the Fountain of the Four Moors, once called of the Square. This is where Swiss guards line up in Gianni Moretti's entertaining film Habemus Papam, 2010. Number 2. Cerveteri, 50 kilometers west of Rome. Must see. The archaeological park, former necropolis, Cerveteri was once called Kydri in Etruscan. It was possibly the largest city of the Etruscans, a civilization that had its zenith in the 6th century BC. The archaeological park, the former necropolis, should not be missed. Wherever you look, there are tombs, quadrangular, circular, small, large, and some tombstones. All tombs, including the large round ones, are carved from volcanic tuff. The houses of death tell a lot about life, above all. The tombs are a mirror of the dwellings of the Etruscans. You have the living room model with a roof as if it were made of thatch. That reflects the time when the Etruscans lived in huts. Later tombs show the skyscraper model, 2 stories of stone. The wealthy have larger tombs, especially domed ones. But because the Etruscans did not yet know the technique of dome construction, they are false domes of earth. The tombs are empty. Once corpses were inside, the Etruscans preferred burial to cremation. Once the tombs were full of precious objects, much has been looted and hangs or stands, mostly anonymously in museums around the world or in people's homes. Number 1. Anagni, 65 kilometers east of Rome. Must see. Cathedral and crypt frescoes plus Papal Palace. Anagni, pronounced Anardi, is famous for the slap of Anagni. In 1303, the French king's army, aided by the local warlord Sierra Colonna, laid siege to Anagni, where Pope Boniface VIII was staying. The palace was plundered, and Boniface was nearly killed. According to a possibly true fact, during the imprisonment, the Pope was slapped by Sierra Colonna with his gauntlet. The Pope was humiliated and died a month later of a weak heart. An absolute must in Anagni is the hall in the Papal Palace where the slap sounded. There is also a statue of the Pope with a strange, almost 70 centimeters long tiara, the papal headgear, that corresponds to an L, the measure of length in which the Ark of Moses was calculated. Moses brought salvation. The Pope acts as a savior. That's the idea. The seated Boniface can also be seen in a spacious niche set high on the side of the cathedral. Inside, you can't get past the crypt. The colorful frescoes from the 13th century tell complicated biblical stories. For example, there are scenes from the Apocalypse depicting the 24 elders. In a vault stands the majestic Christ whose sword of justice comes out of his mouth, no less. Furthermore, stories about the Ark of the Covenant, as well as the depiction of the separation of the micro and macrocosm. In Lazio, you will not come across more interesting, more complete and more square meters of Romanesque paintings. Subscribe to our channel for more similar videos.